Well, how's it going today, folks? I'm Braap and welcome back to the Braap Shack. Today we're going to take a look at a 2013 Summit Sport 600. Customer feels that the crank may be shot. It runs, and it's got 115 and 117 psi of compression. So I've narrowed down the issue to the PTO side, and I'll show you how I did that. Don't know what the issue is yet, but we're gonna pop some stuff off and we're gonna hopefully find the problem today. So let's get into it. So here she is. Like I said, 2013 600 Sport Summit. So therein lies the problem. Like I said, she runs. Customer drove it off trailer and drove it into my backyard. I did compression test on it, and mag side was 117 and PTO side was 115. A little on the low side, but this sled here is 8 years old or so. Probably released in 2012, so maybe 9 years old. But anyway, what I did, I'll show you. Let's get you strapped in here. Okay, so what I was doing was I was checking which side, or if either side had slop in the crank. I was taking my handy dandy screwdriver here, and I'd insert it into the hole, put a little bit of downward pressure, and rock the clutch. Right, not so bad. But remember, tolerances are very tight in this sort of thing. But you hear, if I don't touch either cylinder, listen, when I rock the clutch, I'm rocking it right now. Hear that? That's a very minute amount of slop somewhere. But if I stick the screwdriver in the PT or in the mag side and put downward pressure, you can still hear that slop. If I put screwdriver in the PTO side with downward pressure, no more slop. So that slop is coming from the PTO side. Now, we could be talking about something simple like worn out wrist pin or piston bearing, but it also could be the connecting rod or the crank. Now, I know it's not the outer bearing, because the clutch is nice and firm. I guess it still could be the outer bearing, but I doubt it now that I found slop in this cylinder. So I'll take you out of there and I'll set you up, and we're going to pull everything off out of our way here, including the secondary and the jackshaft and the gauge pod and all this. Get it the fuck out of our way. And then we're going to find out what's the matter with this engine. Well, the headlight's not supposed to just fall out of the housing, but something like that. Now, we're going to make a fuck of a mess if we just open it like this. There's a hose down there. There's a hose here. So I'm thinking if we suck this tank dry, suck as much out of this hose as we can with the ass end up in the air, then we can pop off the pump hose and suck as much as we can out of there with a vacuum. Fuck's sakes, I know what you're thinking. Now, let's take a look at what we've captured here. Because I know most times this is a really messy process. I've done this a couple times. I mean, we've got, oh, I don't know, at least 4 liters in there probably. So I don't know. But we're gonna pop her open anyway. If there's still a mess, then there's still a mess. But there's gonna be 4 liters less mess than there would have been. So okay. Now there's a tool for this that keeps everything lined up. When you pull out this bolt, the gear and the chain and everything's gonna want to fall down inside there. So you take a screwdriver and you push it through with the jackshaft. That way you don't gotta open the chain case to get the gear and everything all back in there. I recommend beforehand loosening off the chain tension a bunch. Right in behind there. See this guy? There's this bolt, or this nut right there. I take that guy off, and then there's a small one. The small one I think is a 10 mil, and the bigger one I think is a 12 or a 13. That's your bearing retainer, and then you can just tap the jackshaft on. Now, that bearing should pop right out of it when we tap it from the other side. But just to help it, we'll give it a little shot of deep creep. So now we've got some head bolts here. We also have one plug connector here. Looks like a temp sensor. We'll get that out of the way. Get these hoses out of the way. Get the spark plug wire out of the way. We've got one more connector here for the heated carb. Big hose over here. I'm not worried about disconnecting any of that because, like I said, I don't think there's much left in here. Like I said, no mess. Next is these exhaust valves, or I mean exhaust manifolds here. Looks like some sort of an Allen key. And then we'll take off the intake boots. Those look like 8 mil. And then we'll pull these cylinders. Now we got the carbs here. They're also 7mm for the clamp. So let's see if we can find a long 7mm on a stick. Could have just left that guy attached, I guess. But I fucking didn't. Now we may spill a little bit of fuel here. May probably being an understatement. We're gonna spill some fuel here. I see a tiny bit of coolant down in there. That cylinder is not too bad. You can still kind of see the cross hatching. That cylinder too can still see cross hatching. Yeah, it's right in the bottom of the rod. Yeah, I don't think it's the piston bearing. But just to be sure, we'll pop this fucking piston off. Yeah. So, crank is definitely pooched. The cylinders look perfectly fine. They still got good cross hatching. These pistons, first of all, they're single ring, so let's just for a shit and a giggle here. Let's see if this is why we got shit for compression. Oh yeah, look at that ring gap. See that? That's like almost, that's probably well over a 1/16 of an inch. And you know, normally you'd be looking for a ring gap of 20 thousandths ish. So it needs pistons, needs rings, cylinders are fine. Good on the owner for you know, stop riding when he noticed an issue, because she still ran. And a lot of times, you know, if she still runs, they'll run them until they don't run, and that's when, you know, you start hurting jugs and all sorts of terrible shit. So I'll have a chat with the owner, but that's going to be it for this one. Next part of this video will be getting parts and reassembling. So that's it for this one. Until next time, have a gooder, folks.